Hey everyone, I'm Wa.
And I'm Chris, and welcome to DocuSweeties.
We're two longtime friends who discuss the riveting and sometimes trashy world of reality TV and docuseries.
Yes, but through our own lens, which can be peppery, salty, bitter, but at the end of the day, hopefully and mildly sweet.
Yay! So right now we're talking Love During Lockup, season 2, episode 6, Jail Bait and Switch, or Love Life, something after Lockup. Season 4, episode 28. So let's jump right into this because I've got a lot to say. Let's just talk
Should we
about
jump in? Should we jump right
yeah.
in? Let's just.
Jessica and Dustin, or whatever the fuck his name is, because this boy, I mean, she's a fool. Look at her. Look at her foolish face.
Look at the
I
foolish way she didn't blend her eyeshadow.
I mean, she doesn't want to blend her eyeshadow. She's from a different culture. I mean, a different time. She's a Generation X. Anytime someone's like, "Oh, you're 44," I'm like, "Oh, that's Gen X." You know?
Yeah, it became like it was just like such a situation where in the 90s, and if you were of an age where you wore makeup in the 90s in a certain type of way, because when you're a little younger, like you might have started wearing makeup, but there was just a way in which the 90s makeup palettes were glittery and shimmery and purple and loud. Like it was not, and I'm not saying there obviously is more, there's still shimmer nowadays, but there's just more of a natural tone to it and more of a blended quality to I think eyeshadow fashion. You know what I'm
I mean,
saying?
what it is that she was going into the CVS or the Walgreens and she was getting her like a Maybelline little palette that had an eyebrow color that was a shocking metallic silvery white, and then she got that little puff in there and used it. I mean, listen, the truth is that I used that little puff on one of my very first YouTube videos when I was doing makeup, and one of my friends was like, absolutely not. She was like, put that away. No one's going to ever take you seriously. Nobody uses those. They just throw them away. And I was like, oh, good. So what it is that Jessica, while I was a freshman in high school, Jessica is like class of 96. So when we say like
Mhm.
while I went to school in the 90s, I didn't wear makeup in the 90s because only fast girls wore makeup when I was in high school, and I wasn't allowed to do that. So what I would do is that I would like sneak. I wouldn't put on any makeup until I got to the bus stop, and then I would like get a pencil black liner, and then I would light the tip so that it got kind of soft, and then I would do like my fake liquid liner just a little bit on the eye, and then I would line my lips because dark liner on your lips was super in style when I was like a kid in high school. So then I would line my lips with that and fill it with Vaseline. So like that's who I am. And I'm telling you that Jessica is 4 years older than that. So she was deeply like she probably plugged her eyebrows to which an inch of their life. Like she was wearing like she's class of 96, okay? She's high school class of 96. This woman is an absolute fool. So let's stop talking about her makeup, which is obvious to everyone that something is happening there and that needs to be stopped. But she's rolling down the road in a Corolla. And as a former Corolla owner, I felt that we had a little bit of a kindred spirit. But the way that Matt Sharp and his crew were like filming this car speeding down the highway was like in no way what I know a Corolla can do. Like it was just trying to do too much for the Corolla. And
Okay.
she's like, I need answers from Dustin.
Ma'am, we actually need answers, honey, from you. Like, first of all, why don't you love your life? Why do you hate your life so much? Why don't you like how living has worked out so far? How horrible were the dating apps, honey, that you just want to throw everything away, throw it all to the wind? It's not worth anything for this man. That's the question. That's the only question.
She says, I do have worries about Dustin. I mean, sure, there's risks. There's risks when you date any man. Oh, yeah, that is true. But there's like, it's like there's risks when you go and swim in the ocean. There's risks also when you go and swim in the ocean with shark infested waters. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you could swim in the ocean and there's risks. But sometimes you just don't want to swim in a place where there's animals that can bring you down and drag down your whole entire life and kill you and ruin you. I'm not to say that Justin's going to kill you, but he definitely is going to ruin you.
It actually goes to show it's just like she must have dated like kind of the same. She must have dated just like not the greatest guys. I mean, she must pick from a not a great pond, I guess, if we're going to keep this water metaphor. Like, and what we're saying is, girl, like you have a whole ass job, like you
A
seem
good job.
normal. Yeah, you have a good ass job, like why don't we try and like strive for some like better choices, like why don't we I think that we can try and like I don't know, get some better players in there, honey. Get some better roster players.
There's I was thinking about this, that there is a certain amount of bravery and tenacity one has to have
Mhm. Mhm.
in order to be someone who's lonely and or doesn't want to be alone,
Mhm.
and then to just do anything by hook or by crook to fill that void. Because listen, I'm a person that's alone and lonely, and I cannot see myself disturbing what peace I have just to not be, or to hunt after not being alone and lonely, because you could definitely still be alone and lonely when you have a partner, because sometimes you pick people out of desperation and they're not good partners. So it's like she's like, I could just imagine her, she's just like she's like pushing her little tray or little cart, down the mess hall, I don't know, and then she like locks eyes with this young buck and he like makes her feel the best that any man has ever made her feel. And listen, my heart goes out to her because I know what that feels like. Well, I always sympathize or empathize with these women in these kinds of shows and these kinds of positions. Y'all know I do, because I know what it is to be that. But I still, I haven't let go of what modicum of pride or sense of self or whatever to just like put my life asunder in order to have someone. Like, I will go to the weddings by myself. I will go to dinner by myself. I will go to the movies by myself. Like, I've gotten over it. Like, I'm, I can't ruin my life for love.
I get what you're saying. Yeah, no, I get what you're saying. And it's just it's for her also not just aspiration, although it is that. The other thing that happened for her is an intense sexual infatuation, obviously, that happened like where she feels like, somewhat obsessed with him, like where she like just like really is like very much obviously attracted to him. And yes, like something happened in this look. I wonder what the look was like, what he like smized in those eyes across the commissary, or whatever the mess hall was. Yeah. What did he look like? Yeah, girl. Like
Like, that's what he would like. I can't even. What did
I
he
would
do?
rip you apart
I
if
want
there
to.
weren't anyone here, and I would rip you apart and then put you back together like a queen.
Yeah, I want to hoist you up on my face. I want you to sit on my face whilst I am standing and you are just up by my sheer strength. Like, what could this man have done to her? Okay?
Who's
Because then this
spinning?
woman, she's going to the jail and she's in like all the baggy clothes and they're talking and they immediately terminate her time with him. And she is so upset. She's so like American, like upset. Like, it's so, this is, let me tell you. I remember I told you guys that I also talked to somebody who was in prison, and I too felt that my rights were being encroached on because of the things that I felt was like unfair that the prison would do. Like, I was like, "Oh, they're reading our mails." He's like, "Yeah, when I get your letter, it's already opened." Oh, that I am an American citizen. That is a breach of my privacy. Like, you know what I'm saying? So she's feeling all these feelings of like, yeah, I can't believe they're really out to get me. I'm like, yeah, bitch, because they can't have a nurse or anybody working for the system just like willy nilly dating people. So, like, yeah, I'm sorry. You shat where you ate. And these are the consequences of that. So, I mean, as much as I'm sad for you, but the way she was like almost in tears, it was just weird. I mean, I get it. She loves him. So, like, it's a violation of her rights. And she's like, I can't send him any money. And I'm like, "Thank God. Thank God." I'm so happy that happened to her so that she can now no longer send him any money.
I know. Her like, if her friend like, her sister's watching oh, sorry, her daughter's watching this, and she's like, "Yes, thank God." Then she, like, launches into, like, yeah, like, she used to have her titties out, but she didn't have her titties out, and why, they're doing this against her or whatever, and then basically also says that he used to be in this place called The Box, but he just got out of the box, and she got to see him, and now he's, like, maybe back in the box, and then she also lets it slip
Oh, you're
that
so
he's
cute.
what?
Say it. Go ahead. You're cute though, but go ahead.
That
Then she
he's
lets it slip.
then she lets it slip that he slipped.
Wait a minute. This is isn't that when Nurse Jackie comes? Do you get that reference, Nurse Jackie?
No, I thought you said Nurse Jackie when her friend's talking to her about what she's done.
Yeah, but didn't
Yeah.
she doesn't she lets it slip that he slipped up when when she's talking to Nurse Jackie though. But anyways, let me tell you what the box is because you said it like you had no idea, which is why I was like, "Oh, you're so cute." You don't know what the box is?
The whole? I
Yeah.
don't know. Is it like a thing where, like, he's done something bad and so now he's, like, has to be in solitary confinement?
Yeah. So the box and the shoe, it's just where they're in a sale that has no
Are you
windows.
saying
I know.
why'd you say sell like sale?
I know.
Like
I say it
cyber
like
sale,
I
like
say it
Black
like
Friday sale.
I say it like that all the time.
No, that's wrong.
I know. I say it like that all the time though, and I always catch myself. I'm like, it's like a sale, sell, sale.
It's a
I
cell
say it all
phone.
the time. I can't believe it's the first time you heard me do it. I do it all the time when we're talking.
Okay, so now you tell me about
So yeah, it's where I don't know. It can be like solitary confinement or the box or the shoe is usually a space, and in my mind, it's in the basement, which it very well may not be. And they no longer have their cellmate. There's no wall windows. It's all concrete. It's just a bed and like a sink, and then the toilet. And they're in there for 23 hours a day. They only get 1 hour outside to like walk around in like a confined space that's still no windows, just like more sunlight. And then they go back in there. So when people are like in there for years, it is considered torture.
Yeah, like, so was he in there because of the meth? Because later on, she would say, like, she brings up the fact that he slipped on meth to, like, to us, and then later on with the friend, she says,
Oh, okay. I only remembered it when she did it with the friend.
mm-hmm.
Um,
Pick up.
yeah, she says he slipped on drugs, and I was like, "Oh no, that means that
Fresh, freshly
he's
drugged.
still in the midst of his
Wants to
addiction."
do it.
Yeah,
Wants to do it.
he's Lizzie doing heroin and Scott paying for it. Like that is
Yeah.
what's going on.
Yeah, like, if like, if you're gonna be able to do heroin in prison, if you're gonna do heroin in prison, like, I mean, you can say that you're bored or whatever, but, like, in out here in real life where there's just, like, all the money and all the ways for you to get heroin, you're gonna do it out here because, like, if you did it in prison, odds are you probably went to prison having already wanted to do it, having already done it in the real world. So, like, I don't see a change in the pattern. You know what I'm saying? There's nothing to have changed. I mean, her saying it to us, I feel like was the reason why she's crying. But yeah. So then her friend comes over, Shonda.
Nurse Jackie is what I called her. Do you know that reference from the show Nurse Jackie?
I mean, I do. Okay, so now here's the thing. No, I don't know the reference. I know the show. So I know the show Nurse Jackie with, like, the girl that was, like, short-haired, a short-haired nurse. So
Short-haired blonde nurse
yeah.
who was taking prescription like she was taking drugs from the hospital. So she was like she had some kind of back injury or whatever and got hooked on Oxycontin. And she didn't have like the best, but she worked in the hospital. She was an actual nurse and she was like one of the best. It's starring that woman who was like, I can't remember her name. Is this terrible? Terrible human being because she's a great actress. But she was
Patricia,
I can't,
I'm
it's
looking it up.
she was
I'm looking
from
it up.
The Sopranos. She was the Carmela. That's her Sopranos name.
I'm ruining my life right
She
now.
had
So
a whole moment in her career, and like right after Sopranos, she got Nurse Jackie on
Edie
Showtime.
Falco, okay, so
Yeah,
this was
Edie
never
Falco.
no one
She
ever Tell us. No one heard that except for us, and we'll never talk about it again. Go on.
Yeah. Edie Falco had a whole moment and I was here for it. I mean, I just haven't heard from her in 10 years, to be honest.
Mhm, mhm.
Anyways, so yeah, this woman, this friend comes over, titties out. And there's a little, I don't know, charcuterie board. Chris, you tell me what the you pay attention to the food in these shows.
I
And
always, always.
she puts it out and
It
it's
was hadam. So she has, like, some crackers out, honey. It was just like a hadam, like putting out some snacks or whatever. Like, it just, you know what? In every way, this girl, I feel like I want better for her because she's only known bottom of the barrel. Like, that's what it is. I feel it's like, oh my God, if you could just like know better, like the eyeshadow, the charcuterie, the male options. I'm like, that's not the male options. Here's the thing: there is not better because I don't have better. I'm saying there maybe not is better,
yeah.
but better is no one.
Yes. And those people who are like, I don't want to be alone. I'm like, you are brave because I don't want to be alone, but not that bad.
Yeah.
You are brave to allow yourself to like fall into that pit of despair because I could let myself fall into that pit of despair, but instead I just go and get my nails done and like do things for myself that make me feel guilty in the end, but also make me happy in the end. So Nurse Jackie comes over, titties out, and she's been drinking. She
Well,
she Yeah, she's fully slurring, but she's making the most sense. So we can't even knock
yeah.
her for it.
You know what?
She's
I wanna
like,
say this, because it really is, like, one of those things where, like, it's cinematic and or theatrical that, like, of course, the person that makes the least amount of sense makes the most amount of sense. It's always like it's a version of the fool, where it's like, you're supposed to be like, "Ha, ha, ha, what's this one about with her titties out?" Like, but at the same end of the day, she spits what everyone needs to hear.
truth, truth.
And the way
She's
she does it, which is she allows Jessica to kinda go in and start talking sweet, like, tells her about it, brings out, like, "Oh, we used to write each other these letters,"
and then
and
they're
by the
just
way
like, I want to beep in your beep, and I want to put my
yeah,
tongue up your beep, and I put it in your beep,
I know.
beep. And we're like, Andre?
Oh, okay. I know, I guess in my mind, I was like yeah, like, I guess in my mind are letters with, like, my friend Wa, like, if about, like, some dude, like, I just don't know if that's the letter that I would be like, "Wow." Oh, this romantic letter, like, he wants to shove his
Beep, beep.
oh, great, Chris, like, I don't know, like, it's she lives her life in so many different ways in which I would live my life. Anyway, like, the cheese or charcuterie, I think, is one of the most offensive. But anyway, so this girl, like, tries to just straight up be like, yeah, okay. Anything else about him because he's just so young? What is that about? And she's like, yeah. She slips. She tells her, and I don't feel like she knows the minute that she tells her that she shouldn't tell her. She
Yeah,
slips. Then he slipped.
yeah.
We are all
And then
slipping.
she's like, what kind of drugs, Jessica?
What?
And
What?
then she's
What?
like, meth. And Nurse Jackie's like, whoa,
What?
whoa.
Whoa!
And then
Not
Jessica
not
starts
that
to
one.
cry.
What's
Jessica
a good
starts to cry.
kind? Like, "Oh, I did some shrooms." Oh, she doesn't know you found you got shroom chocolate while in jail? Oh,
No, she
okay,
was
just no, that's
drinking.
fine, shroom chocolate's fine.
Like, what's a drug that you're just like, okay, like weed or
Shrooms.
but that's not a drug, is it?
1 line of Coke? Oh, okay, well, I hope that lasted 2 seconds and was fine for him, like
Maybe angel dust? I don't know. I'm trying to think of a drug that somebody were to
a
tell me that they did,
Quaalude?
and I wouldn't immediately be like,
Okay, Quaalude.
yeah, like that's such a like 1970s reference. A quaalude is like things they did at 50s.
Barbiturate. What if,
A barbiturates.
barbiturate what if who d just okay, first of all, I've always thought about this. Just to try it once, would you smoke opium?
Oh no.
Oh, no?
Yeah, no, because I am chronically unhappy, and if I found something that like took me to La La Land, I'd never come back. I fully, fully believe that I would be an addict at a moment's notice.
You know what would this is my problem. I, in my mind, think that, like, opium is sort of like heavy weed.
Oh, you fantasized. What's the word?
Yeah, well, because it's like, yeah, it's like French bohemian, there's opium dens, you're just, like, on some sort of, like, rug, like, it's a beautiful pipe, just, like, so, it's like, like, it's like Asian people did it and, like, French people did it, like, French and Asian people, I don't know, just, like, we're, like, a whole high society, just, like, smoking some gold ass, long ass pipe, honey, like, literary folk, honey, artists and stuff like that. But the problem is I actually think it's, probably heroin. So maybe that's what you're saying is right, it's like you would have the best trip of your life and you would get addicted. Like, it's so
Yeah, no,
interesting
it
that
is heroin.
okay, so, like, yeah, why is heroin worse than, like, Molly?
Because
And
it's
this
an
is
opioid. I don't know about Molly. I think Molly is like a chemical drug where it's like I think Molly is something that's like short term and people can get addicted to it too, but something like an opioid like gets into your system and like changes your brain. And so does meth, but meth is also a chemical drug too. Whereas like opioids are from opium and that's a natural substance that has like been chemicalized and whatever into what it is now. So yeah, no, I mean, though like those people were addicted to that. And I think we live in a time now where it's easier to get money to continue an addiction. But a lot of these, like, the people you were speaking of, these French, these Bohemian, these people, they died. They like didn't live long, prosperous lives.
mhm,
And the way that they got off of the drug is that they actually had no more money. Like it was harder for folks to like survive back in the day, whereas now you can fully, it's there's more opportunities, more social stuff, to thrive on. It's crazy, like when I think about the class system of Europe, like how just people stayed poor because they were thought to have been less than. But anyways, so Nurse Jackie, she's like, when you're not done, you're not done. And he's gonna bring you down. And I said, come on, slur some more and teach the people what it is. The reason why you're into him is because we save people for a living. We're nurses. That's why you want to save him.
mhm.
And Jessica's over here crying and shit. Like, and it's true. And I think that that was like really great way of saying it. It was like, no, 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 he didn't slip up. He's not fucking done. If he could find a way to get money or using the money you gave him to buy meth in prison where he has no responsibility and all he has to do is like wake up and like put on some slippers and like walk around and come back. Like all of choice is taken from you in prison. That's
Mhm,
why a lot of these people come out and they freak the fuck out because while they have their freedoms, they also have to make all of their own decisions. They have to find all of their own food. They have to
mhm,
clothe
mhm.
themselves. They have to do all of these things that, especially somebody who is an addict, it may be hard for you to come out and just like do those things, especially if you've been doing drugs since you were like a teenager and your brain didn't develop the way it needed to be and you've never known life to like truly live it because you've always had some kind of substance to numb you through it. So I would love for Jessica to walk away from him right now.
You're not alone. Obviously, your friend does too. Like, like, it just really goes to show that, like, uh, you should listen to your friends. Like, listen to that, Wah. And that your friend's always right, Wah. What I was like, it
Mhm.
always goes to show you that you're, like, kind of, like, drunk and or, like, whatever blonder friends are always right. Like, as you sit there, mute yourself and eat popcorn. So, yeah, like, I love this woman so much. I think that, like, whatever she's on, whatever that she needs to give her, the wise tongue, honey, like, you know, take it and give it and spread it, because people need to hear the divine word from you because, like, we all I mean, what can you see from me? Like, like, what am I doing wrong? Because, like, she cuts these words, and I think that, like, Jessica hears them because she starts crying or whatever, and I think that she, like, kinda, like, breaks down, like, and I feel like Jessica even can feel her daughter's disapproval because we know her daughter disapproves. We know that her daughter was like, I feel like he's gonna like drag my mom back down. Hearing her daughter say that in the last whatever the last episode or the episode before that was truly heartbreaking because to now, of course, have the validation that he in fact has used meth just like means like you cannot bring this man into your life. Like you have too many great things going in your life. You have a life. And you have a daughter, you know what I'm saying, who like is becoming a woman right now. You know what I'm saying? And like this woman needs you, you
And
know,
what
like
example are you setting for her? And it's just always so interesting to me when I see grown people making decisions that if they saw their kids making them, they would say something. As well as like, girl, you want to ruin your life for this jackass or jackanape, as I wanted to say. Let's move on. We've been talking about them for 25 minutes. So the next couple that I want to talk about are Justine and Mike, and you better fucking tread lightly because I'm not in the goddamn mood. When this motherfucker had the audacity to swivel his lips together to tell her to tread lightly, like, bitch, where are you right now? I'm in the free world. You tread lightly.
I
But
know
first,
he should have been like tread lightly cuz I'm not in the mood. Tread lightly cuz I'm not in the mood. Do you know what I'm doing?
is that climax?
No.
Then the meeting in the
Yeah,
ladies'
it is.
room. Okay,
Is
get
that
the
called
fuck out
climax?
of here. Get the
Yeah, it
fuck
is.
out of here.
Yeah,
Get
it's called
the let's
climax.
move on. Let the fucking what the fuck? I can't even fucking believe you right now.
I love to like ruin her life. Okay, so yes, it's called Climax, and that's what it is. And it's just like that song, so that's what it is. And she answered the flip phone. That's what flip phone. That's what Wall wanted you guys to know. Okay, and it was like a flip phone that was sitting on top of another regular ass phone. Okay, so and at first was just like yeah, it was like is that one of those new kind of because there's brand new weird ass flip phones and then there's old flip phones. I can't tell you it was one of the new flip phones. Oh,
It's a, it's a new flip phone. I mean your flip flops with your flip
yeah,
phones.
I know.
Okay, so this bitch is in the kitchen doing something. Girl, let me get my notes up. She's in the kitchen doing something, and then she answers the phone, and he was like, "What's up with your cousin asking me all them questions?" And she's like, "That's my family. Of course they're gonna have questions. Like they want to know where you got things from." And Mike, you have to expect that. And then he's like, "Well, I wasn't expecting to have to answer a questionnaire." From I shouldn't have to answer anything from these people. I said, first of all, fuck you, a questionnaire. She's asking you a level-headed question, you idiot. And then she's drinking from the craziest mug. I'm like, do you do hair? Like, what's going on? What was the choice? Like, why'd you buy this?
Oh, I know. It was like also like she gets, she's like upset. And so she's like kind of like upset at this time, just drinking out of like a mug, a cartoons mug. Like, here's the thing. If I had done it for a hairdresser and it was, like, done at Color Me Mine to be, like, one of the best mugs I've ever made in my whole life, people would be like, "Oh my god, what a Mozart of mugs," like, this
Mozart of
special thing
mugs.
okay, but it's not that, it's like, she bought it, so, anyway, yeah, she has also, like, a pink bread box, I saw that, everything kind of, like, matches, she, like, lives her life in that kind of, like, way in which I feel like her TikTok algorithm is
Oh, my
people
TikTok algorithm. Yeah.
yeah,
Like it's like,
people
mhm.
packing, matching things with matching things. Like, WOG gets in this specific algorithm of people either, like, packing their makeup bag or packing their to-go bag, and there's just this undercurrent of people with, like, matching AirPod sockets and the tissues, and where do you put your chapstick, and they all kind of fit in little things, and they all have pockets, and it's like the ASMR of people packing up their purses is intoxicating. What?
I mean, especially if it's like a color thing, like my favorite color is purple, and I saw a girl doing it, like she packed her purple purse, and I was like, "Oh, I wanna pack my purple purse too." Also, I love watching people be organized because it's what I strive for in my life. Like, I want to be organized, I wanna think of the little knickknacks, I want to be like I want to do those things. And so I try to a certain extent. Like I bought something for my bathroom that is, at least what I've seen on TikTok, is very like China, where they have this apparatus that you put on the wall and your toothbrush hangs from it, and then you can put your like parfums, your eau de toilettes, and you can put like your face creams and stuff. So it's like what we would normally either tuck in a drawer or under the sink or on top of the sink kind of nicely. It like this apparatus is against the wall. So you get your toothbrush and you just like stick your toothbrush in this little hole, and when you stick it in that little hole, toothpaste comes out on it, and you just refill the space with the toothpaste. It's just like so efficient, and so I'm like
Where's
excited
your
to
I don't
purchase.
understand where are you putting your perfumes? You're pouring your perfumes into this plastic thing?
No, you just set it on top of it. It like has space. It's like a shelf. Yeah, and so I watch all these gadgets show like videos where it's like, "Oh, here's where you hold your little gadget to like hold your soaps for your kitchen. A little gadget that like does this." So I'm super into gadgets. Like I have a lot of gadgets. I spend a lot of money on gadgets. A lot
Really?
of organizing too. Like I have a lot of lazy Susans, or two. That's a lot in my cabinet. So like my spices aren't just like sitting in the cabinet. I have them on a spinning thing. So I just like spin it. And it also stops me from purchasing like over a ridiculous amount of spices, and also keeps my spice space clean. So I'm not like searching for it. It just like spins. And but then there's also people who have spice drawers. You know what I'm saying? So I'm into all of these things. Okay, anyways, let's get back to this. So she's rightfully very upset that he is mad at her cousin for asking a simple question, because she's like, don't be stupid, people are going to ask questions like that. And it's frustrating being your wife and being out here and not having to live life with you and being so close, because she's going to get out in like 2 weeks or something and they're fighting. So she goes outside and she sits down for a bit and she's like, I don't understand why, he's being mad. Her family has a legitimate reason for asking those questions. Then she's like, I don't know, girl, doing something with some shoe brand that he's like making. Oh, this is the dumbest part ever, Chris.
So, yeah, like, then she's like, "Yeah, I wanna help him get out," and so he, does this shoe brand where, like, the majority of the sales seem to be coming from inside the prison, of people that, like, are never gonna wear those shoes. Oh, unless they're buying them from family and friends, which she's like, "I'm so happy they're being supportive." Yeah, like, listen, like we forgot to say the tread lightly thing. It happened in this, or when we talked about the beginning, but like basically they get in a huge ass fight over this situation where he like hangs up on her and she hangs up on him, and like this tread, like he says tread lightly or whatever. And she, by the way, has the longest nails. She says it's hard to really type in her nails, and so this FaceTime she has ends up having with her sister, like,
His sister, but
yeah,
yeah, her sister by marriage.
yes, God bless. Ends up being on this like plastic pink holder, and the holder is a fake phone. So it's like you see the like boop 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 and an antenna on this side, and then on this side it's just sitting there, and there's like a keyboard. Meanwhile, there's like a MacBook Air, so she's like just choosing it to have it this way. By the way, I got one of those like band ears. I love it. It's like it was on sale.
Yeah,
So
I was like, is does the FaceTime, I guess what it is to me, it was a FaceTime sort of setup where there was a keyboard to it. So I'm like, do you type? Is this, I don't understand this apparatus. It was a big apparatus. It was like a kawaii girl's dream.
yes. Yes. I wonder if her thing was that her nails are in fact so cumbersome for her that like she can't like push the thing to FaceTime or whatever, and so it's just easier for her to like maneuver her phone like having a keyboard or whatever. Her nails are long, you know what I'm saying? And like so on the FaceTime with her sister, they like talking about the shoe company, and basically the sister also lets it be known that, he's bought girls' cars before. She's not the first. And she, like, is taken aback. Is like, "I'm sorry, excuse me? One more time. No, right
Yeah.
here. Right here. No." Somehow you just, like, I just wanna, like, can you just roll it back? Rewind it. And so she's like, "Yeah, like, you know, like, you're the
Like just
I'm
stir,
born.
shiver, never stand for now. Like that's what she needed. A stir, shiver, shiver,
Never
never
been
stand for
yet,"
now.
you
If
know?
you
Yeah,
worth
yeah.
it, let me that. So, I mean, what do you think? Do you think that she? I mean, listen, right or wrong for her getting upset? How would you feel, Chris, if you got a car from a guy who you were in love with and you or who you
I'll
felt
tell
where
you the
you
whole
guys
thing.
were
I know what you're saying. I'll tell you exactly how it was. If a man has never been in prison and never, like, has exposed himself to ridicule for financialness, then and, buys me a car, then no, my family can't go up to them and be like, "How'd you get the money for the car?" There'd be no reason to, like, to do that and be incredibly rude. However, that's not what happened. This man has sold fentanyl and heroin and now gone to prison. And so her family's like, "What the fuck? How do you have that money? Are you still selling it?" That's like what the inferred question is. And so they're asking, basically being like, "Are you still fucking doing illegal shit because now you just got married to like our girlfriend and friend, our niece, our cousin?" Well,
audience, I need you to tell me if you understood what I was gonna say. Because I felt like it was she interrupted me as though she knew exactly what I was gonna say. And I thought I was clear with what the trajectory was.
no.
And this time difference between she and I, we are not in sync because I was gonna say, Chris, how would you feel if you found out a man that you were in love with or you both were in love with each other and you had married him? You found out that he also bought cars for other women because that's what the fuck we were talking about. So, how would you, Christine
I will go. I'm gonna get
motherfucking
around to all.
Farah?
No, I was gonna give you my listen. I
No,
know.
no,
I'm
no.
giving. No.
You went back
No,
2 minutes ago of
whole
conversation.
conversation. No, I'm giving you my opinion on in how I first of all, what it'd be like if I was married to Mike and all the things that he's done to me. So yes, how I would feel if
No,
if he got mad at my family because they
not
bought me the car. And
Mike.
also B, now the B part is whether I get mad at that he bought the woman a car. And whether I'd ask the follow-up question is, do they sell the car? So let me ask you. I'd be like, well, I got a fucking Mercedes. I wonder what kind of car. My first question is, what kind of fucking car did they get, and how many of them got a car?
Baby
And
mamas, think about it. Baby mamas.
how many
He
baby
has
moms does he have?
let's just say he has 2. He got
Then he
3
could have bought
kids.
them if then yes. Then if he bought 2 women, 2 baby mamas a car, I would not be upset.
Okay,
He's
thank
taking
you.
care of the babies, taking care of them babies.
Yeah, yeah.
Now, if he bought them both Mercedes
Mhm.
and I got your mom, you know what I'm saying? Then I'd be like, okay, cool. Like, well, now I know that I can ask for a Mercedes because I know that you know where the dealership is and
I
how to actually get one. It's weird. You know how to get one. So
that's
great.
just I
What?
just want my
So,
friend
and
to
the
be
final thing is
not so petty and just not be a baby. You were like you are getting a free vehicle. And you were like, "Well, if the mother of your children got a fucking Jaguar, I need a No, you don't, bitch. No, you fucking don't."
first of all, Wall, you thought that I was gonna get mad at him for buying any other woman a car, and I said, "No, I wouldn't be mad that he bought his baby mamas a car."
No, I just said I threw that out as an example, like if it was the baby mom. But what if it wasn't? That's my next question.
No, he listen, a man has a past. If he has bought other woman cars,
Great.
I consider him someone that, like, who buys women's cars. Now, if I find out what fucking kind of car he bought and it's better than the one he bought me, then there'll be a problem, and I will remedy it.
No, yeah, see, no, I'm with you on the fact that he has a life or whatever. I guess I'm just like, I don't as long as I'm happy with what I have. I personally am somebody who I don't need to know their past. I don't want to know their past. I've told this person I'm dating right now, just don't tell me anything about your past because I will hold it against you in a court of law. So don't.
Yeah,
I don't want to hold it against you. I don't
that's
even want to
smart.
fucking think about it.
Yeah, that's
So
smart
yeah.
because you would feel some type of way if he would like all he did is buy other people all these things and he bought you something and it was just like
Yeah,
shitty.
I'm like, "You bought all these people who were mean to you these things. What
Yes,
about me who's nice to you?
exactly.
Is it just now you realize that you can't buy me? Like, you
Right.
shouldn't try to throw money at a girl?" Well, listen.
We're on the same page.
Oh, okay, great.
Yeah. So listen, if he bought, I mean, listen, if he bought all those other bitches, honey, whatever, God bless, lovely women.
Oh, you don't wanna call them
Yeah.
bitches? Oh,
fancy ass cars, and then
oh.
he turned around and got me, like, a 1997 honey, like, blobbity blue
A
bloopity blob.
1997?
I listen, I don't wanna say
You
anything specific that, like,
so
offends
you said a
anyone.
1997. That's great.
I won't even tell you the make. The make itself,
I
I
won't.
won't
It
I
was
know, I was
like
like, in
I
age
know.
alone, it could be offensive, and yet also, I won't say what makes sense or whatever. I'm just saying, he got her a Mercedes, so if he didn't get me
He
a
got her a
Mercedes,
Mercedes, you want a Maserati.
I would take a Mercedes.
Okay, okay. Okay, okay.
Also, 'cause mine would be newer. Tee hee hee, hoo hoo hoo.
Yeah, it wouldn't be
And
just new, it would be actual year.
he would be 2023, whatever year we're in. Anyway, so God bless. So, yeah, this friend, this sister is like, "Y you're not special," and then they're like she's like, "Do they still have the cars?" And, like, that's an interesting question because it's like, if it is the baby mamas, then maybe the sister would know, but, like, how is the sister gonna know if, like, whatever, they're still driving the cars or whatever?
I think
And
it's
I think the
still
question is, like,
the
have they
hood.
got repoed or, like, leased? I'm not quite
I
sure.
I think it's just like the hood, and I don't think that he's the type to lease. I think he's the type to like put down, just buy it. So those aren't he didn't get that from the dealer. He got that from like a resaled whatever and just put down like 25K or whatever.
Okay.
That's what happens in that world. So she needs to now talk to her man and figure out what's going on because the sister-in-law just brought in that unnecessary drama. So now we know what they're going to talk about next episode. Next couple we're going to talk about real quick is Dowry and Emily. And let me just do a quick reenactment of it. No, you say what you put first, and then I want to do my reenactment of him.
Okay. So we see Emily, honey, and she is like giving me this like impressions vanity mirrored lighting setup. You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like every like YouTube guru, like in the 2010s, like spoke of getting, they're like all did the same thing. They're like, get an impressions lighting vanity set with like, the stage lighting, those big bulbs, and then go to the IKEA and get like the white drawers, like where everyone like gets them and you all put your makeup in the drawers or whatever. And then on top, you get those like earlier Kardashian season 1 or 2, like clear plastic makeup containers, and you all line your shit up in there or whatever. And it's just like all sitting there. It's just like, it's the makeup 2010s YouTube setup or whatever. And so Emily has it. I see it, I see the lighting. By the way, I have the same vanity set, which is why was like shaking her head. And I know, I
You're
hate
like you're
you.
just reading me for filth right now. And
So
then I
anyway,
was like, wait a minute. You had that shit too. We had it together.
I never got the IKEA, but yes, I do have the
Oh,
impressions vanity set,
I
and,
got the IKEA.
so, yeah, like, then he calls, honey, like, and she, stops, and then why?
And then he's like, "Yo, ma, so I just need to tell you that I need you to how was your interaction with Smoke? And I need for you to give him some more money, maybe." And she's like, "Dari, I'm not gonna do that. He was mad disrespectful to me. He was mad disrespectful. Dari, I'm not gonna do that. You need to choose between him and me." Well, ma, I can't. You can't put me on the spot like that. I've been knowing him forever. And, but of course I'm going to choose you because you held it down this entire time, ma. And, I really love you. I got mad love for you, son. I got mad love for you, kid. And she's like, bye, and hangs up on him. She is fronting so hard for these cameras. It's getting on my nerves. She is like literally, she set up a shop on Front Street so that she can pretend to America that she has got dowry wrapped around her little finger. When I know when the cameras aren't there, she's over there talking about how she's going to tickle his feet and do all the things that he wants her to do when the camera, like, she acts so tough in front of the cameras. And girl, we know the reason why you can't go over there and visit him is because you want to be a lawyer, so you say. And if you have that on your record, you can't be go visiting inmates if you want to like be some kind of district attorney, you weirdo. So anyways, then he calls Smoke immediately, and it's like, wow, he has a lot of time to just call people.
Wait, can I say something? Wait. It's so interesting because it says like, yeah, I also like can't be associated with Smoke, like you can't Google me and get Smoke's name or whatever. Like, I would be like, you said like,
Yeah, you
like,
can. You're on a show with him right now. You are currently on a show with him. So yes, you can Google. Yes. It is wild.
you in a scene with him where you haven't even done a scene. Yeah, like with your actual dude, like, like she is crazy. And I think that you bring up such an astute point. I think definitely when the cameras are off, she's like, "Hey baby, hey poppy," whatever she's gonna say or whatever. Like, and yeah, she was so cold when she like cut off the phone. She just wants to make it seem like drop this dude and like maybe I'll talk to you again, but like I'll never talk to you again if you like talk to him again if he's on your list or whatever. Yeah, so he calls up Smoke, who's working out like at a playground by a beautiful river by like a bridge, honey. It's like so much better than like the Planet Fitness, honey, or like the 24-hour fitness. It looked like, you know, fresh air.
Mhm.
And so he gets a phone call from Dowry, who's like basically, yo, what happened? And Smoke's like, I met up with your girl, like she was, disrespectful, but I just, sort of raised my voice, but I wasn't disrespectful. And then Dowry's basically like, well, I'm gonna have to
Yeah,
choose.
bro, I'm gonna have to choose between you 2, and I'm gonna go on ahead and choose her. He's like, "What, man? You gonna choose somebody who was disrespectful to you and disrespectful to me, and her being
Controlling.
disrespectful to you and controlling? Yeah, because she been holding down. That broad ain't ever come visit you in jail, son, and you gonna let go of your man's here, Smoke, who you've known for X amount of years, bruv." I was London, sorry, not bruv. Man, whatever. And then I got it mixed up. Now I can't do it anymore. But anyways, and so he's like, yeah, I'm gonna have to like let you go because I choose her, whatever. And Smoke is like, yeah, man, it is what it is. I'll see you when I see you. And they hang up. And I
Yes.
was like, oh my god, who is the producer producing this? Like, ugh.
See you when I see you. Like, what does that mean? Like on the streets or yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah, it was just like very weird. It was very, very weird. Okay, let's move on. Next couple that we are going to talk about is Ty and Hottie.
Oh my god.
Ty just like likes to break things in her own home. Like she loves to flip shit and break stuff. This woman is sitting in bed with a full face of makeup and a high pony with like very like Aaliyah or SWV bangs from 1997 specifically, as we're talking about that hot year. And she's like in her bed half clothed and there's a full camera crew, like she's just supposed to be chilling. I guess this is her day off, I don't know, girl. And she's wearing like an oversized shirt and she gets a call from Hottie, and you wrote here, hey, what's up, bitch? Hottie calls her a bitch.
Yes.
Oh.
His name was up, bitch. And she's like, nothing, I'm in bed. And at one point, yeah, I said like she was almost like spread eagle, like her like legs are open. And so then
Yeah.
yeah. But I'll tell you, this next scene is one of the best scenes I've seen in a long time. Like I just feel like everything she does is like perfect. Like I just feel like I love her for this. I think that she is amazing and like she's so happy with herself at the end of this, and so am I. So basically, she's like, hi, I'm just like laying on the bed, or whatever, and he's like, oh yeah. She's like, yeah, just like, oh, I'm so horny. And he's like, oh, yeah. And she's like, yeah. Oh my god, like what would you do if you were just like here, and he's like,
He's
he's like,
like, I would beep in your beep and put a beep of your beep, beep, beep. And she's like, yeah.
yeah. Is that what you would do if you also saw Boston? And then just loses, just flips and is like, the fucking bitch. I went and talked to Boston. I saw Boston. You're lying to me. And she engaged to Boston and that stupid bitch. And I
Why are
just
you even messing with Boston? Why are you even trusting her? She's a dirty ass
why
bitch. I
are
don't
you
even
still
fuck with her
messing
like
with my
that.
ugly
I
ass?
don't
Like,
even
why are
know
you
what you're
still
talking
messing
about. I
with
only
my
got
ugly
love
ass?
for you. Fuck her. She's a lying asshole. And then
I
like,
can't believe I did this. She's just like so pissed. Yeah, this is like what Wa's saying is like she just trashes her own place. Just first of all, some things looked LOL because like she kind of like knocks something over, but then she like knocks a hat rack over. And when I saw her knock that like coat hat rack, I thought to myself, who even has one of those? Like, who even has? I haven't seen one of those in 30 years. And if you did, and if I still had one and you told me, okay, you gotta do a scene, it'd be the first thing I'd knock over. You're just like, this, yeah, just like, you're just like gonna throw whatever's around. That was my bra. I don't know why I decided to throw it, but Patreon, you're welcome. Yeah, like she just throws all of her shit everywhere. And then Wah wrote what happens next. You'll just say it because it just like makes me so happy. Then what happens, Wah?
Then she like lays back down, and then they're like
They hang up. They hang up. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
okay, yeah, like she just like finished like doing some really good stretches, or like just like got out of a good like meditation and like cleared her mind. And
Content.
they're like, how do you feel? And she's like, I'm content, I feel great. And I have to say that I talked shit about her last episode, and I still stand by what I said. But now that I looked up what a Bernstein bear was, she was absolutely correct.
Yes.
I would, for whatever reason, couldn't picture them. I kept picturing Paddington Bear with the hat and the like galoshes and the raincoat, like at Paddington Square. And then I was listening to I was actually listening to Pink Shade, who they're fabulous. Mary Payne and Aaron, fabulous. Yeah, I was listening to their episode, and when she said, yeah, just like with a barrette, it like everything came together as to what the Bernstein Bears were. And I was like, you're right. That was a fucking funny ass thing to say. It was so Ty. Thank you. Bravo. That was a good joke.
Yeah, Ty, I love Ty. Like this was a genius thing, like this move on her, like she basically is just like, I'm just gonna go back to the round table, honey. I am Arthur. This is my court, and I'm going to knight a new king at the court. I'm gonna move him into the new slot. Like, like it's this moment of time makes me so happy. And so I just want so badly for her to like always live in the power, instead of like not living the power. Like, I don't know. Listen, it's a kind of the same thing with 90 Day. And I'll say this 90 Day, these moments, or it's like, if you are someone who understands that it can be crazy to be, to feel lonely or whatever, you can, like 90 Day has a lot of people who are just like, I'm just going to meet someone. And, like what's a secondary way to meet people? Like, oh, okay, like maybe I'll go on an international dating website or whatever. Maybe I'll look or whatever. And then like, I don't know, I guess is an alternative way to like, maybe I'll look at prison websites, you know what I'm saying? Like, I know, but I mean, it's an other, I guess, like it's a different thing than, than just either trying to like meet some around you or going on dating sites that we have all here.
Yeah.
So
there is something very exciting and fun about talking to somebody in a different country. There's also something I would never send commissary money to that person, nor would I have ever paid for any kind of phone calls with him. So we wrote letters, but I can't tell you how excited I was to receive a letter from inmate 12258 from whatever correctional facility once a week. It was the highlight of my fucking week. So
yeah,
like I said, I do know what it's like to date somebody who's not from the US. I know what it's like to write somebody who I would have had who treated me the best at that time I had ever been treated by any man. And like, yeah. So I understand it. Like I completely understand both sides of it. It's the ruining one's life part that's the different for me. Like I didn't pay for anything for him. I didn't put money on his books. And the one time he did something where he like gave my address to his brother, and his brother sent a pair of shoes to my house. And I was then supposed to like send those shoes to him. And he did that, and I was livid. Like I was like, don't give anybody my fucking address. No. 2, don't make me some kind of weird courier. You're gonna have to find some other girl to be that girl. I'm not gonna be like running errands for you. And he was like, oh, I'm sorry. I didn't think you'd be annoyed by that, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, yeah, no, I'm not. I'm sorry. Like, and even when I left New York to move home, like I had to tell him, I was like, I can't write you from my parents' house. So it's like I was willing to do it to a certain extent. Like I wasn't going to like have whatever inmate 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 correctional facility come to my parents' house. Absolutely not. So that's what I'm saying. Like
Two four two one.
I don't know what it's like to go so far with these kinds of things, but I do understand the excitement and the feeling it can give you. And yeah, I understand it.
Yeah, so basically that was yes. So I want to say we understand it's the same similar thing, kind of like an idea that the 90-day people have as well, which is that they're going to choose to get into a situation that is feels other than the norm in basic society, in this normal in American society, because either it A works out for them, or B, they were like looking for something that like they don't want to be lonely with, you know? And so I understand not wanting to be lonely. And I think that like for what seems like Ty, like she is doing this because she doesn't want to be lonely, like because the idea is like, why can't we just like find you something, Ty, like an amazing man that like is on the other side of, the prison cell, honey, can like
Oh
age your
no,
life better.
she likes this. She did have a date in seasons past, and she took two phones on that date and then answered. She took both of her phones, set them out on the table, and this man was cute. Set them out on the table, and then when one of them rang, she like picked one up and said that it was her job, but it was an inmate. So she just really loves this game. She loves putting money on their books, or she loves like whatever it is, the control of it. Like for all we know, she could actually be dating a man on the outside and just like has this weird ass scheming ass life. We don't know. I
Okay.
totally forgot that we had two other couples. Like I 100% thought we were done.
No, we're not. So basically,
So
she cremates. Listen, so she cremates like her like last moments of him. She like puts all of the ashes into an urn, honey. She's like done. She's gonna send the urn to either like Boston. She's like done. Okay, our last two couples are Chelsea and Mikey, and Mark and Sincera. Who do you want to start with?
let's start with Chelsea and Mikey. Because what really happened? I mean, they go to a lawyer and then they do that stupid thing where they want us to know she can't hear.
I
And
hate that. What?
then
How many times do they have
it's
to
just
do it?
every time they're going to do it. And then the mom is like, it's really unclear what exactly they're trying to get from the lawyer. It's like, are they trying to sue the jail, or are they trying to get him to have less time? Like they
Oh,
just seem very gravelicious with it. It feels like the mother the whole time is licking her lips. They're like, what can we get out of this? So what are you gonna do? And the lawyer's like, first of all, how much y'all gonna pay me to even think about helping you?
yeah, because you have nothing, I can tell. Yeah, like, they get there, and then so end up Mikey calls and then tells the whole story. So we get to, like, we'll half hear the story, tee hee hee, because that's when they do, like, their famous editing to show us, like, what life is like for Chelsea, and I love her so much, so God bless. But, like, I don't, like, just also, like, what's happening. So Mikey tells this long, convoluted story about how basically he was, like, playing sports or whatever, and he started to feel something, and then, like, went down his arm, and he, like, said something to, like, the jails people, and jail people were like, "Nah, it's fine." And he's like, "Are you guys sure? Like, I'm also feeling these dizzy feelings." And then jail people are like, "Nah, you're fine." And then like the medical people are like, "I think you should go to a hospital." And the jail people are like, "Pretty sure he's fine." And then like like finally they like bring someone to bring him over there, and like it's all such a thing. And then once he gets there, the people are like, "We should have been here the whole time because he's having a stroke." And then like, yeah. So after this, the mom and Chelsea are there, and like the lawyer is basically like, "Who's that?" to Chelsea, and Chelsea's like, "I'm great." And he's like, okay,
Yeah,
like, which was LOL. Uh, like I forget how short of amount of time he actually has in there. He only has 9 months, I think. Maybe and so he only has 9 months. And so it feels like they want yeah, for him to get out early, but also probably some monetary stuff too.
yeah. And then like she doesn't know that he has that many felonies. That's the one thing I do remember,
Oh
is
yeah.
that she's like, "Oh my god, I didn't know he had that many felonies." And I was like, "Wow, you're a responsible parent, aren't you?" Like, and then also this lawyer made me very upset. I expect people who've had a certain amount of education to be a little bit more aware about those in the world. And that's dumb of me too, but like he just would not open his mouth and enunciate in a way that she would be able to read his lips. It's like he just kept being like, and
You are
I'm
moving
just
your
like,
lips. The funny thing is you are moving your lips. just now.
Just like
So you're not opening your mouth. Your lips are all over the place
he
now.
just he just like it's like it's like listen, I know people who like studied for the bar. It's not an easy thing to pass. I mean, I don't know how easy it is in like fucking Virginia or where the fuck they are. But what I guess I'm just like I just expect people who are educated to just not be so stupid when it comes to speaking to people who are like deaf or blind or I just it's just wild to me. It was wild that he was just like still not speaking and almost he didn't want to tell her. And I'm like, just tell this woman stuff. Wait, I have a question. There was a moment when they found out that they were gonna need like what I thought was 1,500, but they talked about it as though it was like 15,000.
Yeah, it's 1,500, and no, they cannot make that. Yes, yes, yes. They acted. Yes, yes, yes. It was 1,500. So she doesn't have that. They don't have that much money. They're just very poor. They don't have 1,500. That's just that means 750 each.
But I guess what yeah, you know, right. And I in my mind, I think to myself, you have a whole house. Like the cost of living in some of these places are so low. You know, I'm just like, I just live in such an well, I don't anymore, but like, God, I lived in such an expensive place before where like 1,500 is you know doable.
No, yeah, but it's like no, it seems very hard for them. But the lawyer thinks that they have a good case. So then later on, she goes swimming with her friend Logan, who's also deaf, and then we also see a video of Mikey signing that he basically can't wait to see Chelsea romantically, which was like was that his way? Was he like, "Hey, hey, like, ask Google, like, like, how do I, like, American Sign Language, like, can't wait to, like, make love." Like, well,
The
this
way
is
you
how
do
you say
men, it's like so hilarious. Hey,
no.
yeah, like yeah, dude. Like, wait, like, I want to do my. I can visualize the way you do your mouth. You're like, yeah, man. Like we're such dudes because this is how dudes talk in Chris Farley's head. It's just like they're all like this, and they're like Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure at all times. Like all the time, girl. Like that is how men are in your fucking brain.
Yeah,
And then like sexy girls are like, hi. Oh my god, and you want to lay in the bed. They're all fucking Southern California white people in Chris's head. when she when she's doing like just now when she did the sexy girl, she's like,
like, "Hi." No, that was my
I'm so sexy, like from California, and this is how sexy girls are. It's like my 12-year-old brain just developed how sexy women are, and I just stayed that way.
whatever, like, that's Mikey saying, like, he wants to, like, bone her, he's just like, "I wanna bone you," with, like, my right in there, well, we was just like, "I," like,
This is how you say bullshit.
that looks like you're just saying, like, "Peekaboo."
No. This is the head of the bull, and this is the poop.
Oh my god. First of all, that's way too much work to like, 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 oh, yeah, no, that's like, yeah. You know what I thought of the other day, which is not only because we're a little bit not really at this at all, but remember when like people were like tutting?
Oh no, I don't.
Oh,
What's
it was like a
tutting?
dance thing that people were doing?
King? Like this?
Yeah, like remember the time? Michael Jackson like
Huh?
tutting?
No.
Yeah, there was a time in which people were like, "Oh, the new like dance thing is like we tut."
And do it.
Well, okay, remember the time
Yes.
with Michael Jackson? Then
Yeah,
do
but
I
there's a
have to
lot
do
in
it, or
that.
can you just also, like, remember him doing it, which
There's
was
there's a lot in that. So it's like that's a whole oh, it's that one. Okay, that part of it. I know I who are these people that you speak of?
I think I've said Michael Jackson, like, 4 times in the past, like, 10 seconds, and so Michael Jackson from, remember
No, I know that. I know that. But I'm saying when you said when people sorry. Okay, let me clarify. That's right. You're right. You're right. So wait, when you said that people were gonna start tutting, besides Michael Jackson, who else did it? Was Madonna in on it too?
No, I mean, no, but, like, the Napoleon and Dynamite of their mid-90s, I'm sure were very into it, you know? Not Napoleon Dynamite. Oh, who Tabitha Napoleon.
Okay.
Quite different, quite
Because
different.
I was like, Napoleon Dynamite, it was Jamiroquai he did that dance
I
to.
know, I'm quite you know what, can we go back to where I'm sorry, I lost my mind. Okay, so of this situation, it's, this is them, they're Logan, it's swimming, it's like, they're, like, in a huge pool, like, I don't understand, there's, like, no lanes in this pool. This Logan, Chelsea in the swimming pool, like, like, I just, like, love the idea of swimming, it's so good for you, it's so healthy for you, it's like, you don't have to, like, like, have any impact on your joints. And so I always think of like, oh, it's so great to have a great swimming pool. You can just like do laps. But yeah, they dive in. There's not a lap to be had, no lanes. It just looks like a never ending pool. You can just like swim around with your friend. It looks so much fun as like free swim. Is there anything by me? Like I get it, like, swimming is fun, but they're not even really swimming, they're just, like, sort of just, like, dog paddling and just talking shit about their lives, I was like, at some point, I'm like, "Are they gonna get to the workout? Is this the workout? Are they gonna, like, like, go to the
Oh,
hot tub later?"
they were working out? I thought they were just, like, hanging out, having a good time, talking shit because they sure were, and the friend is like, "What felonies?" Like, detailed, "Please, don't make
Yeah.
me have to bring my hands above this water one more time, girl. You better spill the beans."
Yeah, it was like, it must be very hard to sign when you're swimming and there's the version of swimming you are doing, which is, like, basically dog paddling because you're, like, keeping yourself above water, and so, like, to have to sign while swimming very, very hard, but basically, yeah, like, Chelsea's like, "Yeah, hey, Logan, like, guess what? So, like, I learned some things about Mikey, like, he just has, like, some felonies," and Logan has to be like murdery type, like murder, like all
Yeah.
the murders, like he's
Like,
like murdered people
no,
kind of
not
felonies.
murder.
Yeah, just
No.
like he's just like, felonious, mischievous mischief, that kind of
Bravo, bravo.
The mom, remember when the mom made it seem like, "Oh, yeah, no, Mikey has barely any felonies." He just like no, 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 no. Like, yeah, Mikey, oh god, what is his charges? Something just like stupid. Like he just like took possession of stolen property over 500, yeah, and just some other ones I remember, like anything's dumb. And then the lawyer is like, scrolls down, scroll down, scroll down. Like Chelsea's like, what? Like he's like, look, Chelsea, we're like, like not to do an impression of Chelsea, but like it did sound kind of good. But also like, like we do impressions of anyone here. So you can't like not
No,
let me
you
do a
weren't doing an
Parmesan
impression.
impression of
Yeah.
Chelsea.
You were not doing an impression of Chelsea. You were doing your impression of someone saying what, which is not she's so sexy or I'm a dude. It was the other one.
Mhm. We're on a show. So anyway, yeah. So basically, yeah. So Logan, I feel like is doing the Lord's work to try and be like, oh, are you now just like telling me that you're just like with a murderer, and also like you're gonna tell me, well, I like it will take me so long to try and swim over to you because you're so far away in this huge ass pool. Anyway, well,
Oh yeah, I don't remember any. I remember like
you remember that happened?
bits of Mikey singing that he can't wait to see Chelsea romantically. I didn't see that at all. I
I
don't know
know.
if it's because I didn't watch it on TV, and sometimes when I watch it on YouTube, I don't get all the stuff. But let's move on to Sensore and Mark, because Sensore dumps him like just in front of his whole mama. She does not give one fuck. She's like, I thought I fucking told you not to call me anymore.
But
And
she
he's like,
calls him.
yeah, does she? Oh, okay, let's go
So this
back.
is what's confusing. So just so yeah, so she called him this time, I guess, but he yeah, because he's like, "Why are you calling me?" Or "Why are you talking to me?" Is that what he said?
I thought that he was like, then why'd you like,
Why is
why
she
are we having
calling
this
you?
conversation? And she's like, I have nothing else better to do. And I'm like, yeah, that makes sense. She's in prison. She's nothing else better to do. She doesn't necessarily want to talk to him, but she's also on TV and like she's nothing else better to do. So she's gonna come on here and berate him and become like all of our heroes. So it's his birthday. His mom comes there, and his mom knows that he is weird.
Yeah, made him.
Great. She's not like Alice from Clint. Don't worry, she's gonna get off drugs. I promise. Like when Alice promised Clint something that she 100% could not guarantee, I was like, oh, this woman's a crazy person. But not Mark's mother. Mark's mother's like, listen, what skills you have for making money and in business does not transfer to talking to people. And so he's like, Mom, I want you to meet Sensei. I'm so excited about this. And mom's like, okay, like this mom is like, listen, my son is done well for himself financially and he probably takes care of her. Or maybe he's just like There, she's like, I don't have to take care of him. He lives his own life in fucking Vegas. Who knows? Like, and I don't care. So, you wrote some words here down. I didn't write this, so I'm gonna let you take over and do it.
Well, basically, the mom is just like she's listening to this woman berate her son when I don't know what she thought, that she was just gonna like have like hear a loving conversation between her son and his new girlfriend. Like, I don't know. The mom is actually pretty hot for like how crazy Mark is, and she also knows how crazy her son is, so it's crazy. So like, so basically, Sincere answers, so what exactly do you need? And are you a narcissist? Sounds like your mom is a great woman. Like, it's just like so mean. And the mom like hears that and is like, oh Lord. It will like, this is gonna go south. And then Mark is like, Sincere goes in. She's like, "This is why you can't get a girlfriend." And then Mark is like, "Well, we had the best relationship of all the women I like had on the Google Doc that I was like talking to, and like I had put down in the bracket, and like, and I found you, pretty attractive with the makeshift makeup you did, and how I called you out on that, and one little call, and it's all upset the apple cart." Like,
And
like the mom is hearing this too, and I just be like, "Look what you made that. Like, go fix it." Like, I want to be like, "Okay, you seem like a normal ass woman. Look at what's happening. You made that man who has a Google Doc of women in prison that he is just calling and talking to because he feels so bereft of connection to the female form. I would look inward and see like what steps maybe in his childhood and development did I miss where this man feels unable to form healthy communicative relationships."
oh, I assumed that it was something like autism. Like, I assume he has some kind of social issue where he's just unable to do it and he's trying to formulaically figure it out. I mean, he might not, but I mean, his mother is hyper aware of it and she's not like, so you're right, because she isn't like Clint's mom where she's like doting on him and like making excuses for him. She might be like, yeah, I don't know exactly what went wrong, but he's a good kid. Like, I guess like he figured it out. I don't have any problems from him. He's never given us any trouble. And the fact that this is like par for the course, that she knows he has a list of women he talks to, just kind of like mom's like, hey, so maybe the difference is that you are doing this for fun as some kind of experiment, and she's like in this for real, for real. And so you're saying kind of crazy things to her, and this is a reaction to that. Doesn't sound like she's too much into you. And I'm just like, wow, you know your son so well that you hear this woman berating him from prison and you don't have any kind of like, hey, don't talk to my son that way. You're like, well, Mark, stop being an asshole.
That's how you that's wait, that's such an interesting take. Okay, wait. Yeah, she doesn't say anything to Sincere. This woman Sincere is like, "You're a narcissist," and then she clocks it and is like, "That's my son." Yep, she's talking to you, Mark. Oh, that's you, not me. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, it's just, I guess in my mind, I would feel some sort of shame. Like, I'd be like, oh my God, like this, well, another woman thinks that my son I raised as a narcissist. There's something about the word narcissist, which is like, we hear a lot in these times or whatever, like one of those words like we get thrown around, like sociopath, like psychopath,
Or
and like,
gaslighting, or,
yeah, I would hate to raise a narcissistic, sociopathic psychopath. I would hate it. Would be really, really upset. So, like, if anyone like accused like my offspring, like my own blood, my Usman, like my own blood, ha ha ha, of like being a psychopathic, like sociopathic narcissist, I'd be so upset. I'd be like, "Oh no, not mine. Like, what I do wrong?" So she doesn't clock it. She doesn't care. She's like, "Well, bye." And she's just like, "Well, I don't know if the smart part of you that made all the monies, like, is that good at this?" Like, doesn't say like, "Why does that girl think you're a narcissist? What did you do to that poor girl? Why did you three-way call that girl? And what did like, because if Sincere puts it all on the line, she's like, you three-way called and you didn't like, you weren't listening to what we were saying, which is that you were dumb and you didn't know what the hell you were talking about. And yeah, he is just like, the thing about it is rude to sick women on each other like that. Like we're all like weird Barbies in some sort of game that you're playing, like, oh, now this Barbie's gonna play with this Barbie. This
Yeah,
Barbie thought she was in her own world where I was just like putting her pretty makeup on, talking about how pretty her makeup was. And then now this Barbie gets to go to a party with this Barbie. They're together Barbies. That's what it feels like this man was doing.
yeah, and I think Saray was also like, "You think I'm an idiot," and I kept trying to tell you that I'm not. You kept trying to force on me this idea that I should get pregnant when, like, after the first time you said it and I giggled it off and told you that was impossible, you should have left it the fuck alone. But then you just kept insisting as though I'm an idiot and I don't know what it is. I'm in here for the next 11 years. This is what it is. So we're gonna talk and we're gonna get to know each other under those circumstances. And I'm not getting out any earlier or doing any harebrained nonsense from someone who doesn't have their life on the line. Like I could be in prison for a longer sentence for even having this dumbass conversation with you, and you keep trying to have it with me because you are a person of privilege. You are a person who has no idea where I'm coming from. And I keep trying to get you to stop. And you keep being like, well, I'm an American and I'm a man. And this is a great idea. So I'm going to continue. It's like whenever I deal with anybody or see anybody who has that exact thought in their brain of like, a person who has less than me is telling me that they can't do this thing. And I just want to continue to inflict on them my worldview. And my worldview says, no, you can do anything. And it's like, she's like, no, that's not what it is. Like, so I can see why she was pissed and had the gumption to berate him the way she did. And it was all very clear and specific. And I loved it. And then he was like, well, I don't understand. And then she hangs up on him, which is like chef's kiss to what she needed to do.
I'd be like, I'm gonna hang up on you. Put 2,000 in my commissary every month. Bye. Like
I have a theory though. I have a
what?
theory to answer your question about why the mom isn't feeling more shame because
Like that.
I think there's just like here's one. She either is he is her only child and she really didn't even want him. Like maybe she thought she wanted him, but then he came and she was like, "Oh, this parenting thing, like I love him, but being a mother is super hard. So as soon as I can be done with it, and as soon as he's like it says self-sustainable, I'm just like gonna move on with my life." And I feel like that could be one thing, or she's got other kids and she's like, "Well, this is the weird one. I'm gonna go back to the ones that are regular." And just put all my energy into them. Like that's what I think is going on because like I've been truthfully, there are a lot of women in this world who shouldn't have had kids.
Oh, no.
Or there are a lot of women who have kids and realize that it was a mistake. They love their kids boots to house down, but they're 51 years old and they're not going to take care of an adoptee. They're like, they're done. They're like, listen, I did my one and my done and I did my time and I'm
Yeah.
not going to go back and I'm not going to do it again because while I liked being with my child, I didn't enjoy motherhood. And now that stress of keeping an individual alive is gone, I don't want that stress anymore. And so maybe that's why this mom is just like, hey, glad you're alive, glad you're doing well. Lights are on, you're feeding yourself. But I don't too much take responsibility for who you are as a person.
Yeah, bad mom. Bad mom. Hot mom, bad mom, bad hot mom, not a cool mom.
Bad mom,
I'll do it.
judgy.
I don't care. Okay, you guys, we got through this episode. Can you believe it? Rip Van Winkle, 30 years later, honeys. What a treat and what a trip it's been. However, if you want more of us, and I'm surprised anyone wouldn't, thank you so much for listening. I love you guys so much. You can follow us on Instagram at DocuSweeties and on Twitter and on TikTok at DocuSweeties1. What?
If you would like to see the visuals of what you've just heard, the honey, they get to see the honey as opposed to listening to it. You can go to patreon.com/DocuSweeties and join us for $10 a month where we upload the unedited version of this directly to you.
Yep. However, thank you so much for just listening and being part of this. And also, if you have rated us 5 stars, thank you for that. Happy holidays, everyone. We're so thankful to have you on our good list. You know what we're saying? On our nice
Mhm.
list. We love you. Anything else to say, Wa?
No, we'll talk to you guys later. Be great. Have a fantastic whatever you're listening, have a fantastic time. Okay, bye.
Bye.